All right, let's get into some architecture here. Roman architecture, columns, the Colosseum, and domes. I like that background. It's a nice looking background. Learning objective. You are to explain the influence of Roman architecture on us today. Architecture is our word. Influence, remember that's just that just means how something has affected us. I guess you can say it that way. Next, summary questions. So 1 is done for you already, and number 2, you got to fill that in. How has Roman architecture blanked? Concept development. Roman architecture was largely based on older Greek designs. So that basically means they copied the Greeks. Like the ancient Greeks, the Romans used columns to make their public buildings look stately and impressive. Also, like the Greeks, the Romans covered many of their buildings with marble to make them more majestic. There's a couple of words in here that we're going to have to go over. But your words are Greek and Romans used columns is the other one. Okay, so this word stately just means like authoritative in a governmental sense. Like you looked at it and you know, oh yeah, that's a government building. That's kind of like what stately means. Marble is a type of stone, beautiful white stone, used a lot in ancient times, not just for architecture, but for sculpture as well. Majestic means like grand, impressive, in a beautiful way. All right. Before we get to the question, here's some examples of some columns. They had names for them. So the most plain looking one, as you can see here, was called Doric. And the one with the little curly Q here, I'm not sure how else to describe that, is Ionic. And then the one that was most decorative would be the Corinthian. Now look to the picture over here on the left. What type would you say this was? Doric, Ionic, or Corinthian? Here's another example. I know what this one is, this first one. I don't know what the last one is, but these first two I do. So can anybody tell us what the first one is? Okay, how about the second one? And the third one, God only knows. Actually, the third one looked like it was the first one. Anyway, what architectural designs did the Romans borrow from the Greeks? Next paragraph. But Roman engineering techniques allowed them to take architecture beyond what the Greeks had done. For example, the Roman vault let them build huge structures much larger than anything the Greeks could build. One such Roman structure that used vaults was the Colosseum. It was built to hold fights between gladiators. All right, so here we have the Roman vault, I think is the word. And then one such Roman structure was Colosseum is the next one. Let's see, anything that we need to know? I think we're pretty good on that paragraph. Okay, so before we get to the question, let's look at a picture here of the Roman Colosseum at night. That's a beautiful picture. Nice dark blue sky. These vaults are lit up with light coming from the inside. It's a green light sort of coming from the inside here. That's nice. All right, there's a video. We're going to watch that. And then we'll come back and answer the question. All right, welcome back. Now let's look at this question. What Roman structure used vaults? Wow, that's very easy. All right, next paragraph. The Romans also used more domes in their architecture than the Greeks had. Domes were difficult to build and required a great deal of support. Once the Romans developed cement, they could provide that support. Many Roman structures are topped with huge domes, some of the largest ever built. All right, so our word here is domes. Great deal of support is the word. Okay, so cement, we know what cement is, right? Stuff you pour onto your sidewalk, driveway, things like that. All right, let's see here. Okay, so here we have what's called the Parthenon. You can see here the Romans using columns in a sort of a Corinthian style there. And then back here you could see the dome. And all these people are tourists. But if you look from the side, you can see the dome a little bit better. I just find it strange that you could just park your car right next to the Parthenon. Wait a minute, is that graffiti right there? What is that? Oh my God, do people respect anything anymore these days? Good Lord. Anyway, this is a picture of inside of the Parthenon. You can see that it's curved. You can see the dome there. And again, a lot of tourists. That's a nice picture, even with the people there. All right, let's watch this video on the sorry, I kept saying Parthenon. That's my mistake. Pantheon. Pantheon, not Parthenon. Pantheon. All right, welcome back. Now let's see here. What architectural design did the Romans use more than the Greeks did? Today, we use columns on our buildings too. The White House in Washington, D.C. has columns, as does the Capitol building. We have also built stadiums like the Roman Colosseum. In fact, the stadium in Oakland, California, is named the Colosseum after the original Roman stadium. We also use domes in our buildings. The Capitol building in Washington, D.C., St. Paul Cathedral in London, and St. Peter's Basilica in Rome all have domes. All right, so we're looking for columns is our word. We have 3 words here, actually. We have also built stadiums like the Roman Colosseum again. I'm writing that down a lot. And we also use domes in our buildings. Let's see, anything we need to look for? Academic vocabulary. No. These are just names of places. Some of these are beautiful structures. But no, other than that, there's nothing there that we need to go over. Let's look at some pictures here. This is, of course, you guessed it, the White House. One is the front, one is the back. I think this bottom one is the back. Oh, I forget. Capitol building in Washington, D.C. This is where the legislature meets, the legislative branch of our government, to make the laws, debate the laws. You can see various things here. We have the columns, the dome at the top, and there's vaults right down here. See some vaults. I'm sorry, arches, not vaults, arches. This is the Oakland Stadium called the Coliseum, where the A's play. This is a picture of 2 naked guys and the Coliseum in Los Angeles. This is where the Olympics were held in 1984. I remember those Olympics, believe it or not. I was 6 years old. All right, let's look at this YouTube video, and we'll be right back. Okay, now that we've seen that video, seen the pictures, read the paragraph, the question is, how has Roman architecture influenced us today? All right, turn the page. You'll see your skill development. My favorite kind of skill to work on is claim and evidence, people. That is it. That is the bee's knees. Claim. The ancient Romans borrowed architectural designs from the ancient Greeks. Prove it to me. What's the evidence? Next claim. Roman architecture has influenced us today. Give me evidence. Prove it to me. After you're done with that, you can answer your summary questions. You don't have to rewrite the question. That's kind of silly. But make sure you do answer in complete sentences. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Take care. Like, subscribe. Like, subscribe.